Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and evening, folks around the world. On behalf of BEST, which is Bangladeshi Entrepreneur Society of Talent, me, Faisal, I'd like to welcome you all to this second episode of our show with our 8 highly talented young adults from DC, metro area, as well as New York, and even all the way from the West Coast in Silicon Valley. As last week, we will talk about our current situation, our lockdown situation, and share some ideas and share how our young crowds are doing in this, pandemic situation. And basically, today's topic, the moderator Mo and Zara will talk about. But I just want to kind of give you a quick highlight. Is the topic is a little interesting and a little controversial. Actually, it's about opening things up. As you know, we're trying to open, partially opening things. And let's hear from our highly talented crowd here, young crowd, as to what they think about the situation. And also, I like to invite others from around the world who want to be part of this every week. So today, as last week, it's everyone is from the North America, US. But next week, I think we're going to have people from both Bangladesh, Middle East, and probably Australia. With that, let me go back in the backstage and bring our great moderators, as you all know by now, Mo and Zara, and they're going to be conducting the show, and I will be back on stage trying to arrange all of your great talk. So with that, let me bring our moderator, Mo and Zara. Welcome, Mo. Welcome, Zara. Take it from there, and I'll be in the backstage. Thank you.
Thank you. So good afternoon, friends. This is the second episode of Best Talks. I'm Farhana Zaman Mo, your host for today, and we have with us Zarafsha Ahmed. We at Best represent the young voices of millennials. They're empowered and they create a network of highly mobilized individuals. And we think it is very important to bring the opinions and their good discussion on the table. With that, I would like to introduce our next set of talented individuals who will be expressing their views on today's topic, as Faisal's already told about, is that are we ready to get back to a normal life? So with this COVID-19 pandemic, nothing has really been the same. We're all unsettled, uncertain, and yet we're trying to make sure, we all stay safe. We're taking all the measures to protect each other. We are in gloves and masks all the time, scared to get too close to others, keeping ourselves at home in this summer and praying for this to end. However, even though the global cases have reduced, countries are easing lockdowns. Asking people to return to work or asking us to resume to a life before COVID, with no drugs being a positive disruptor for this COVID and no precise treatment yet, are we ready to return to normal? And that is what I'm going to ask the squad today. Are we really ready for this? So we have with us today Hassan Sadaf, Hia Akbar, Fareen Chaudhry, Ramin Chaudhry, Dibya Borua, Samara Hiba. Thank you all for participating with us today. So I'm going to start with Sadaf today, who's currently attending in Montgomery College. And interestingly, he will be moving to New York for his during fall to study music.
Yeah.
So Sadaf, with everything that happened in New York, do you think the states should reopen state businesses? Also, what is more important to you, public health or economy?
I think there's both good and bad in reopening states and businesses at the moment. I mean, if you look at it from one perspective, like Dr. Fauci said the other day, that if we reopen states or businesses too soon, then we might just see the worst of this virus, right? We might just get pushed back to where we started. I mean, like you said, like so many states are doing so much better. Like Maryland is doing so much better. New York is doing so much better. They're even thinking about opening some counties at the moment. But then again, if what Dr. Fauci said is true, and if we really see the worst of this virus, then all this progress that we've made so far would be for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if you look at it from a different perspective, like millions of people are losing their jobs. Like I think more than 20 or 30 million people have filed unemployment.
Yeah.
Right? So people are getting frustrated. Like depression is rising, suicide rate is rising, violence is rising at the moment. So I think, I mean, I don't really know if there's any specific answer to this question, but I think this lockdown is saving us from coronavirus. That is true. But there are some other issues too rising at the moment in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if people are dying through other causes or people are
Yeah.
not, people are starving, I guess we're still talking public health is still compromised.
Yeah, so the result is pretty much the
Without COVID.
same.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, thank you, Sadaf. I know I don't think there is really a straight line to this, but I think you're either thinking about now or you're thinking about some 5 years down. So I guess it's how you think.
Yeah,
But you're
things
moving
always
to New
get
York,
better
so
eventually.
so I guess that question was for you because New York probably faced the worst wave
Yeah.
last
Mhm.
month. Thank you, Sadaf.
Sure.
So my next question is for Hia. She's from New York too. She loves reading and gardening, and I guess Hia, you must be doing a lot of it while you are home and stuck in quarantine.
Yeah.
So Hia, tell me one thing: who or what does reopening the states actually serve?
I think the only people that would benefit, or the only thing that would benefit from reopening the states, regardless of the fact that we haven't had like a significant drop in cases, would be like corporations and businesses. Because right now, I guess you could say a couple of corporations and businesses are getting money through online shopping. Take me, for example, I work at a local chocolate shop and we just missed our two biggest holidays, which was Mother's Day and Easter.
Mm-hmm.
But it hasn't been completely we haven't had we still have like an online customer base. Like they're still shopping online, they're ordering online, we're delivering things to their houses. But I guess these businesses are they're not getting their retail like in the shop benefits. So I think that the only people that would really benefit would be the businesses, because people are still receiving the unemployment benefits. Some people are working from home. So I think we could probably hold out a little bit longer with this lockdown.
So yeah, I mean, you work at a chocolate, like you said, chocolate shop, and you really feel that that interaction is very, very necessary for the business to go forward, or you think that you can still at some point, because you also mentioned that a lot of people are ordering online, they're still doing things that they can do, but that's all online. I mean, do you really think there is any future online, or it is just so important for businesses to open, to talk face to face, to sell what you have, and for people to really I mean, what I want to understand is that has buying or purchasing, really changed in any way, or it is still better when you're there and you're talking to somebody and you're still helping them out, in a shop.
Well, I think everything is better face to face, but
Mhm.
we've been able to create such a thing online. It's like everyone's moving online, everyone's online shopping now. We're all getting our gifts online. So we've been able to we've never had the online shopping option for our shop.
Mhm.
This is something new that we just started because of the COVID pandemic. So I think this could be like the future where we had a group chat and we're discussing how we might be able to keep this online thing going on the side with our store open, because it's
Yeah, but still you want stores open.
yeah,
I get,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah. I think
successful.
it's a chocolate store. It's too bad it's not open.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Hia. So I'm going to move to next would be Farin. She's a beautiful, talented singer, and she will be singing for us later in the episode today. For now, Farin, my question for you would be that with COVID-19, food businesses have only been offering takeout options. How comfortable would you be feeling if you had to get back to a restaurant and you would be dining in the restaurant itself?
As of right now, obviously I'd be very uncomfortable with going to a restaurant, but I think at one point we're just going to have to take that leap and do it if we want to return to a normal life. Like we're going to have no choice, but we're going to take precautions. Obviously, I think we're going to be sitting in masks for a long time in restaurants, but I think that brings about the question of, will we ever feel comfortable? Will we ever really feel fully comfortable how we did before the pandemic in restaurants? I don't know if we ever will. I think there will always be a certain level of fear and uncomfortableness when sitting in a public place like that. But yeah, as of right now, obviously I wouldn't do it, but I I think I would be one of the people to take that leap. I would go. I myself would go to a public restaurant when they're like, "You can go out, go out." I would go out and see what happens. But yeah, I think that's going to be everyone's personal choice and their own opinion on whether or not they feel safe enough to return to the public. So.
Yeah, because I think, like a lot of people like you, if they don't feel safe enough, I think the downside of it is that the restaurants are still running, because at this point of time, I understand that the restaurants cut at least some cost by not keeping it open, but really just delivering the food. And I think the concern that comes back is that if we don't have enough people visiting our restaurants because they're still not sure if they want to, what happens is that they're going to keep their restaurants open and still incur that cost, and not sure how they're going to convince, because I think going groceries is like you have to go. It's kind of mandated because you don't always have people coming and delivering things to your home. But eating outside is probably a little more of your choice.
Right.
So I think yes.
Right. Leisure activities are going to be up to people, and I think that's when people are really going to have to trust, like, the news and social media. But how much can you really trust them? Everyone's afraid. My dad doesn't even leave the house to walk around the neighborhood. So at that point, you're really going to have to take a leap of faith, in my opinion.
So when you say you're taking a leap of faith, and you're watching your friends around you, do you think like you're more than happy if there's even one restaurant in the town saying that, okay, we're going to start keeping it open, you and your friends, what do you think? Like, you're really going to go ahead and do it or not? Still wait.
That's a good question, because here comes the teenage mindset, and you're just like, I want to go out. I want to go. See, that's the thing. There's going to be a lot of disparities between like people like us, the younger people, who really just want to honestly, some people are struggling to really understand the depth of the scenario. So people like me, we're getting all claustrophobic inside and we just want to go out. We want to see our friends. But in that case, you're really going to have to remember precautions and wear your masks. See, at that point, I think I would go, but as long as...
That's what I want to know, that you're going to go. I think that's important, because...
As long as social distancing rules are still in place and no one's touching and masks are being worn and hands are being washed, then I would go, because at one point we're going to have to start re-entering society. Right. How are you going to do that if you're just locked in your home and don't listen to people and they're like, you can go out now?
Yep. So. And I think that's what I wanted to hear as well, because, we're talking about age groups, but you guys are young. And I would want to know what you guys would do, because I'm guessing that, going a little far ahead, some people, like you said, your dad, he wouldn't go because he would be thinking differently. But I think that's where, we have different age groups thinking differently about it. All right. Thank you, Fareen. My next question is for Ramin. So, Ramin, I wanted to know from you that one of the stark realities of the current situation is that many people are simply not feeling secured, especially financially. And if this quarantine time was to be extended for a long period of time, I'm thinking that they would feel even more unstable. So, considering this fact, what do you think is the best solution for this situation? I know it's rhetoric. That's a disclaimer, but yes, what would your take be on this?
My take would be like when I was watching like the Democratic primary, Andrew Yang was talking about UBI, which was Universal Basic Income, because it would, I think, help in this situation, which is like everyone gets like, well, Andrew Yang wanted $1,200 for everyone around the United States, but like Canada right now, they're giving out $2,000 for everyone in Canada. So I'm thinking that maybe if people had like $2,000 or maybe even more, I mean, I don't know how much money, but I'm guessing like if everyone had that kind of money, like people right now, they can't pay rent, they have to, pay for house bills, they don't have that money because, people are unemployed or they don't have their job, they got fired or something like that. So my guess is if people are having that money, UBI money, they could pay all those types of bills and stuff like that. So I think that would help for people who are in this pandemic, I think.
So also, so when they are being paid these stimulus checks, and there is some kind of comfort that there's, government helping, you still think that extending quarantine for a few more days would still be okay, or you still think that it's not the, most feasible thing to do?
I think for now we should still extend the quarantine because I think people are still getting affected from the virus, and like also like there's like protests that are happening, like people wanting to open up the government and stuff, and those things could like also extend, stay at home orders for each state, you know. So yeah, I think people should still stay. I know it's like, hard for people to still stay in, but like you have to do what's safe for other people, like, you could affect your grandmother or like, someone else in your family, who could be affected who has like autoimmune disease or something like that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I do think governments still put up pretty good action by, giving out the stimulus checks. But I guess also it is about taxpayers' money. So there is again another debate down there. All right. Thank you, Ramin, for that. And then we have next Dibya from Virginia. So you just finished your first year of college at George Mason, studying computer engineering while becoming a technology assessment architecture intern for the Fairfax County Public Schools in their IT department. So because you have a lot of first-hand experience with technology, can you share with us the role that technology would play even after life after COVID, and how because of COVID there would be new things or technology that we have to start to rely on. Do you think it is a positive thing?
So right now, what's happening is that many industries, not just the IT industry, where you naturally work on a computer, so you can do it anywhere you want, but we're looking at lots of other industries like salespeople from many different companies. They're working remotely because they're not in an environment where they can go into the office and then work. So we do see the technology industry booming now, some parts of it. For example, one company is Salesforce, which does the online transactions. So we're looking at their stock, and then their stock is rising rapidly now since everyone's ordering everything from Amazon, from eBay, from all sorts of online vendors. And also another company which is kind of new to the game, but Zoom Video Communications.
Yep, they're doing great.
I mean, they've been having lots of problems along the line, and then New York City Public Schools also had a problem with them. Since they're a new company, they don't really comply with a lot of the regulations, and they don't really state it. Where, for example, if you look at Microsoft or Google, they have a better compliance regulations. So not just those fields, if we look at the school systems even, right now, Fairfax County Public Schools is all online, but there was a hiccup in the middle because we weren't really prepared for having this many people using the servers and everything. So about a year ago, Fairfax County Public Schools signed either, I forgot the exact number, it was either $6 or $8 million contract with Dell to provide every high schooler a device, a laptop device. And last week, the school board had a meeting, and then they also decided on doing another multi-million-dollar contract with a vendor. The vendor hasn't been specified yet, but we're looking to provide at least middle schoolers and grades 3 through 5 for elementary school to give them some type of device so they can be learning while staying at home. And that's currently in the budget for the fall season, so the next school year. But not just Fairfax County Public Schools, but other schools are doing the same thing, which is also helping the economy flow. Money's still flowing. But I'll say right now, the technology industry is having a better impact through the coronavirus than, for example, the hotel industry or the airline industry, where they're not having any customers.
That's right. So tell me one thing. I mean, I understand that these all precautions are. There is it's a good thing that there has been a push to virtual learning because of COVID. The emergency was actually what triggered us to move onto technology and start virtual learning. But how comfortable are you thinking? Because I'm sure you must have turned pages in the book. You must have written in a pencil. And I'm saying these are very basic things. And of course, during COVID-19, there is nothing else except health that we can think about. But what do you think it's comfortable? It's something you are very comfortable with, moving on for, the schoolers, like you said, third graders, moving on to a device, because eventually, I guess, yes, technology will continue to get better and these devices will get to be much better as teaching tools. But are you comfortable? I mean, are you thinking that it is okay for a kid to always swipe rather than just turn pages? Like, what does it make you feel? Good?
Well, today we're transitioning into more of an online learning platform, where if we saw 20 years ago, professors weren't really or even school teachers weren't really using technology. They only had either the blackboard or the whiteboard.
Right.
And now,
oh my God.
and now we're looking at teachers, professors using PowerPoints and everything. So we're slowly getting to transition all of education into the online platform. But eventually we'll get to a place where we can do it all online. Like I know some classes which don't really require supervision. I'm taking an econ class at Mason, and that's completely online. No professor. The professor has his pre-made videos and everything. All we have to do is watch the videos and then do the quizzes, the tests, the homework assignments, all that. So I think maybe not right now, but in about 5 years, when we get adjusted to the online environment, learning environment, then we can better evaluate the situation.
That's really interesting, and I think one thing that you are very right about, and I've read it in a few places, that if technology was going to come to what they're at as of currently, in 2 years' time, they're actually quickening their effort. They're here on emergency basis, and I guess we are doing much better with technology in most cases. So thank you, Dibya, for that. And that was really insightful. So our next question goes to Samara. She is from California. Thank you, Samara, for joining us. I know you have just started high school and you're studying at home. Sometimes playing tennis is one of your, favorite things to do. Unfortunately, it is something that you have to do outdoors. So you know that schools will eventually open, and when we do, you would be able to play tennis. But if you are being told to be taking all the precautions, be gloved and covered, and avoid crowds and maintain social distancing, you're growing up, you're in school, you would love to be, playing around. Do you want to be gloved and covered, maintain social distancing, and how difficult it is for you, to do that when you're back in school?
I feel like this is really difficult because of how it's like it deters from our normal lifestyle. But I feel like this is also the best thing that we should do due to how deadly the virus is. And based on several CDC reports that I've seen, the virus can spread at an extremely rapid rate. And most experts think that we won't get a vaccine for it until like 18 months later. And no pharmaceutical companies are close to finding a vaccine for it. So I feel like this is the best thing to do in order to control the pandemic, the virus from spreading.
I mean, well, you play tennis, so that definitely has the, social distancing, at least rules maintained. But, going to high school, joining these high school clubs, I mean, it's often like we're in school, we want to think about having fun and not being completely restricted to rules. So, I mean, does that even still disturb you a little bit that it wouldn't be, either it wouldn't be the same because you're constantly trying to keep up with the rules, or it would be that there wouldn't be a change in that, but you would just feel uncomfortable, that we're not keeping the rules we should. I mean, it's just because I feel like high school is the place where you want to really have fun, and there's just so many other opportunities. I mean, how would you judge, between keeping safe and keeping up with those opportunities?
I mean, it's going to be difficult, but
Mhm.
I'll probably handle it by I still have my friends, so I could still talk to them. So not everything is kind of ruined for me.
Right. And that's a brave thing to do, though. I mean, I'm glad that you are still thinking that way, that, we'll do what we need to do best. And thank you, Samara. So thank you all for these insightful talks that we have had today. And now it is time that I pass the torch to Zara. So Zara, Zarafsha Ahmed, she has actually joined us in our first episode, and she's still here with us today. So thank you, Zara, for joining in and being the moderator for the next session. So for our viewers, thank you for posting your questions on the social platforms. Zara, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I think everyone has done a really wonderful job with the discussions, very insightful commentaries. So we're going to take a little break with a performance from the wonderfully talented Fareen Chaudhry. She's going to sing and play the piano for us. Get excited. And also, Farhana Apu just mentioned that you can send in comments through the live feed from wherever you're watching. So feel free to do that, because we're going to do a Q&A right after this performance and asking some of these questions to these kids and having a little more interactive discussion. But for now, take it away, Fareen.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
A little bit confused. Is this even real? 'Cause in the end, we'll be done again. In my heart, it cannot take all this heartbreak, and I know in the end we'll be long lost friends. You'll forget about me, you'll move on without me. And I want you to know that my heart beats for you. It's quiet when you talk, it screams when you sleep. I want you to know that my heart beats for you. It sounds like you. It sounds like tears keep falling down, my skin keeps calling for your attention, now I know in the end we'll be done again, and my heart, it cannot take all this heartbreak, and I know in the end we'll be done again, and my heart, it cannot take all this heartbreak, and I know in the end we'll be long lost friends. You'll forget about me. You'll move on without me.
Thank you.
Yay! Goodness, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna move into the question and answer part of the segment. And still, if you have any more questions to the viewers that are watching, please keep sending them in. But now I'm gonna ask you guys a couple of questions. Feel free to jump in whenever and answer. So the first question is going to be, I know a lot of you already mentioned how you were working and you still are working. To the others, if you worked before the pandemic, are you still able to work remotely? I know some of you still are, but if you're not, like, is that like a challenge now? How is that working for you guys? Anybody?
I used to work like and then my work was still going through, like, while I was working, the pandemic was happening, like the beginning parts of it. So then my work like started like saying like, okay, we got to keep like social distancing, or like, because I worked with kids at my martial arts school, so it's like instead of giving high fives or something, we would do like elbow high fives or something like that. And then we would hand out like hand sanitizers for the kids and stuff like that. So, but then like we were watching the news and stuff also, so we started seeing like it started getting worse. So then we had to like, close down, the school, because it was getting worse. So we didn't want the kids to get infected or the parents. So now it's been a while since I started working, but like it's been hard. I mean, like it's been hard, but I've been like going through school, so it's been easier. But like now it's kind of like, I kind of want to go back to work, but then I understand like it's like, the virus is still out there, so yeah.
Exactly. I think there's just some jobs you can't do online, like teaching martial arts classes are very physical. I mean, I guess you could, but especially for little kids, I think it'd be hard for them to not be in that classroom environment. Anybody else want to share their experience working, the difference during pandemic?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I work at a chocolate shop, and we decided to close like a week after our school closed. And there's only like 2 kids that work. The rest of them are adults. So what we came up with was we decided who would be working, but it wouldn't be a regular schedule. It would be the same 2 people going in and out, so that it wouldn't be risky with bringing other people in. So what we have going on right now at work is the same 2 people working in the front, making the orders, and then we have the chef and the assistant chef working in the kitchen. So they're managing to pull it together, but it is difficult. I know it's difficult for them because it is you need multiple people to be doing the jobs, but they don't want to risk it with other people coming in. So we have the same 2 people coming in and leaving.
Yeah. Is it harder with like the CDC requirements with like yeah, I think you have to wear gloves, masks all the time. A lot of the places have to change a lot. Like if they are open, they have to change and like put in a lot more precautions. And so was that like a difficult transition?
Well, we already followed like all the rules with what we had to do because we are like a food shop. But I remember like the few days leading up to when we were gonna actually close, I remember the chef and like my boss going through Google and like just trying to figure everything out because no one was giving like a definite answer of whether or not they were required to close or if it was like up to them if they wanted to close. So I remember how stressed out they were like trying to figure out what the actual requirements were.
Yeah, that can be very confusing too, I think. Anybody else want to share their experience? No, I think
I wanted to share. So I'm in the IT field
Mhm.
as an intern. So before I'd work about 2 days. Now I'm working 40 hours since I'm able to. It's kind of a load, but then again, it's better to work the 40 hours so I'm always on a flow. There's no gaps in between. Because before, what would happen, I'd spend about an hour or two in traffic just sitting in my car.
Yeah.
So I'd say, why even bother going to work? So now it's kind of annoying sitting on a chair 8 to 10 hours a day, but it's also a benefit.
No, I get that. I have like so much free time now because I don't have like even like the 5-minute commute between like my dorm and my classes. And so I think I definitely have more time to do other things or even just my regular work. I think also aside from like the jobs you have currently in like school, I know a lot of you probably had like summer internships that you had planned before that obviously must have like changed or even been canceled. I know a lot of people just don't have any at all right now. So how are you guys readjusting to that situation? And are you finding new opportunities or just like taking this moment to take like a well-deserved break?
I have an internship at NIH, and originally I always went over to the campus, to the main campus, and I would work there every day during the summer. But this year we're changing it to online, so I'm going to be at home. I'm going to be working with my internship from home, and I still don't know how I feel about that because I feel like the workload is going to be a lot, considering the fact that I'm going to be at home now. I don't know what that's going to entail, and I'm still new. I'm a senior in high school. There's so much I don't know. So being around superiors at work is so helpful for me because I can always get the help I need. And just being in the work setting is so much different than working from home. It's like, what's the point of the internship? I mean, there's a lot to learn.
Right.
I'm always learning, no matter where I am. But I think anyone can agree that being in the workspace and being at home is they're two completely different things. It's going to be two completely different experiences. So, and it's an internship at the NIH. Like, it's not going to, it's quite the opportunity, and I'm not going to get the full experience that I'm supposed to be getting, you know? So I don't know. I just got to do what I got to do. This is what I got. So
yeah, it's the best. I mean,
yeah,
I definitely get that like being in the workspace, like just like asking a question in the moment is very different from like sending out a whole email.
Yeah, and there's so much to learn. Like there's more than just the content that I'm being given.
Absolutely.
There's working with adults and working with professionals in that space. I learned so much, and it's just basic communication skills that you learn, like and speaking all proper and sending out, you know, all that stuff. You just learn things by being in the workspace. That's, I don't know how different it's gonna be. I guess I'll see.
Right. And you also just meet so many more people other than like your supervisor, like people you don't like necessarily work with, but you would interact and engage with. And I think that's definitely something you're gonna miss. But hopefully there's gonna be more opportunities in the future. Anybody else have summer plans that were unfortunately derailed? I mean, other than like a lot of you probably have like school right now, online classes, but like, are you still maintaining participation with like other school clubs maybe right now, or like how have you organized your like daily routine, especially during the work week?
My school kind of did like since coronavirus, they've kind of been like doing like tournaments, like online tournaments, like, you know, like FIFA tournaments or like Rocket League tournaments and stuff like that. So it's like they're kind of trying to like keep people like entertained, and also like, trying to do like social things online. So it's like people can meet new friends and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what my college is trying to do. It's like trying to like have people like meet online or like playing tournaments and stuff, so people are entertained, so they're not as bored during this like quarantine time. So that's what my college is trying to do right now. So
No, yeah, I've heard that. My college, I think, is also, they've given like Zoom meetings for like doing homework together to like
yeah.
facilitate that like studying in the library kind of vibe. And so
Mhm.
I definitely think there's like a lot of opportunities to like translate some of like
Yeah.
the activities that you do in person onto online learning. Anybody else have experiences to share? Because I know a large part of like the college experience or like high school experience is like doing these extracurricular activities that probably are like, don't seem as important, but I think it's still like important to like keep in touch and like maintain that connection. So I know you guys have like, do like a lot of other things outside of school. Are you still like doing that, or like are you doing something new, maybe trying out new like hobbies and activities to keep you busy just outside of school?
My school, what we're doing, I'm still in high school, we're doing like class competitions. So we're like setting up online classrooms. So it's like 1 week is a baking competition to see like how many seniors bake, how many juniors are baking, and like we upload pictures. And then because we had this during school, we had like little class competitions. And now that school's not actually in session, we're doing the online competition. Not exactly sure what the prize is going to be now that we're not actually in school. We can't have like an ice cream party. We're still trying to keep up like our excitement with the competitions.
Right. Yeah, I think keeping up morale at this time is like very important too, especially for like students. I think so much of our life, part of such like school and like that structure is such a big part of our life, and so maintaining that is like very important, or like having that like abruptly like disrupted is very hard to cope with. What about anybody else? Have something? No, I think outside of that, are you guys maybe engaging in like finding creative and like safe ways to engage in like community service maybe? I know for some of like high school students, community service hours are still important, I think, for your graduation requirements. So are you guys still finding ways to stay in touch with the community maybe? I know that's a lot harder to do. Samara,
I used to volunteer at the hospital. Sorry if Samara can speak. I used to volunteer at the hospital, and you needed to get a required amount of hours to receive a letter of recommendation. Since that was canceled, I kind of never got to reach my required hours, so I never got the letter, which really kind of put my last few years to waste. So that was.
Are you a senior right now? Oh, so you're so close.
Yeah, so close, but I just missed it.
Yeah, that's definitely difficult. I feel like a lot of people are missing out on like key moments, and a lot of people are talking about how this is like they were just like getting a lot of things together, and it was like going to be the moment, and like just this thing like derailed it. Samara, were you going to say something?
My school has just been sending emails about like apology letters towards seniors, and I volunteer at this place like at my local Red Cross, and they've been asking some people to make masks like for. That's it.
No, that's great though. I think a lot of people, because of like the production like setback, like there wasn't enough masks or anything at the very beginning. So I think a lot of companies encourage people to make their own masks and be safe on their own. Sadaf, are you going to say something? Or
No, I mean, I've been looking for some opportunities to do something, for the welfare of the society, but I haven't been really able to find anything yet.
No, yeah, I think
If donation counts, I don't know if that counts. I've made some donations to some organizations, but
I think that definitely counts.
yeah, I haven't really done anything on the field.
I mean, it's hard to be like on the field. It's
Yeah.
a danger.
It's pretty much closed at the moment.
Yeah, and most places are
Yeah.
for like your benefit and also like the people that they serve. It's hard. It's like you want to help them, but also like you just being
I really want to help them, but it's hard to get out of the house in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But then nothing's really going on at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. Anybody else want to share? Or like even something you've seen maybe other people do that's been like helpful to like the community at this time? Because I know a lot, it's like the situation has put a lot of stress on like everybody, and a lot of people are in different situations right now. I think most of us are pretty privileged to have like this like safety that we have right now, and this, but not everybody is, especially right now. I think that there's another question about this is a broader topic, so don't feel intimidated by it, but what do you think about other countries which have weaker like government handle about the coronavirus, like whether like financially or just like they have like lesser restrictions maybe? What do you guys think about those countries? Are they...
One thing I wanted to add, the US isn't really that strong because right now what we're seeing is a fight for power in a way, because the president is not allowed to dictate and say, okay, Virginia, Maryland, DC, you guys have to be closed. They're not allowed to do that. It's up to the state governors. And what's happening right now is a bunch of governors are saying, oh, Corona is not going to happen over here, so I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing a lot of that. And in lots of places, even in Virginia, if you compare Arlington or Fairfax County versus a bit south, Roanoke, those places aren't really having that many cases compared to Arlington because of the lifestyle. So it also depends on the lifestyle in the US. So where there's not as much resources available, those places are, like the remote places are safer at the moment versus like a city environment.
No, yeah, definitely. I think this is like a big question, and feel free to add, everyone else, that like I think our response has been so like disconnected because like there's such a one, we are a much bigger like country, like just like geographically it's hard to like maintain the same kind of like unified response. But that's definitely, I think you guys think that's been like a big impact on like how we responded and like the effectiveness of our response.
I mean, for some of the countries, like even if it's too late to say it now, but they probably should have taken steps way before the virus even got into their countries. Like without like, not bragging about their governance, they probably should have like done something in reality.
I mean, I think
the government just bragging about what they will do or what they're able to do. They're probably, instead of doing that, they probably should have, like do something real and help the people out.
Yeah.
But one question is, when do we know when to close the borders, and when do we know when to open them? How do we know it's not too soon? How do we know it's not too late? Because
for some of the small countries, let's say, like that if the virus gets into your country, then there's no way out. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't really have enough fundings, so they probably should have like taken steps when they knew that there was this possibility that this virus could be coming into their country in the first place. Like for the small countries, but for other countries, I don't really know. I mean, it's really complicated.
Yeah, but when you close the borders, you're also closing a big chunk of the economy.
Yeah.
So how is that country going to survive? Since they're small, they don't have the resources. They don't have the even food supply, for example.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Everything has its cons and pros. So even if you get something, you're just gonna lose the
Yeah.
other thing.
Yeah.
It's just life.
And I think it's hard. I mean, for smaller countries, it's just like hard to close
Yeah.
for a day, like you're seeing in Bangladesh.
Like I'm from Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, they recently opened all the shops for Eid, so that people just could go out and do shopping. I mean, that's just funny.
I've seen like pictures of like people out in the malls, not just Bangladesh, but everywhere. And it's dangerous, but once you open them, you can't really stop people. But
Yeah.
so thank you everyone for this wonderful discussion. Thank you for coming today and sharing your wonderful thoughts. And now we're going to transition into the last performance of the day, which is Sada. He's going to sing a song and play the guitar, right?
Yes.
Okay, so take.
All right. District, I'm at the heart, 'cause up there you look phenomenal. I cannot look ardently at you. You're smiling as he gave you the clue. You're dancing with the piano's tune. You moved and I felt my heart move too. As you were spinning, your hair no loosed open, it's shimmering. Time stopped, it's frozen. I don't know if it's the lights or is it you. I am stand still, 'cause you make my heart flutter. I can't feel everything just got brighter. I don't know if it's the lights or is it you. Timid, I looked at you, your spirit compelled me to move to ask you if you'd like to dance with me too. So I moved towards you with an unsure heart, but I'm sure that I would stutter, yet here I am, standing so close to you. As you looked at me, your hair flipped in slow motion, it's shimmering. Time stopped, it's frozen, I don't know. Are you a dream or are you true? As I was kneeling, your smile made me flutter, so appealing. Everything just got brighter. I don't know if what's happening is true. That's it.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. That's all we've got for today. And so another thank you, another round of applause, virtual applause for everyone that talked today and shared their experiences and their performances. I think it's wonderful to have this opportunity to take a moment and like talk to each other no matter where we are.
Yes, that's what technology brings to the plate.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for participating today. We will great, and by the way, great singing, Farin, and great stuff on the guitar, Sadaf.
Thank you.
So thank you everyone again. Thank you, Zara. It was really very interactive. And I would want to finish by saying that we will be hosting another show same time next week. And Zara, you want to take a hit at the topic that we would have for next week?
I mean, we already kind of touched on it today, but we're going to talk about just graduation, both for high schoolers and college students or wherever, and like the missed opportunities, like missed like milestones, especially for certain people. Like I know maybe like even a lot of people have to cancel their weddings and stuff. And so just like for this generation, like the missed opportunities for like these like important moments and how that feels and how you're processing, and whether or not like a virtual graduation or something is still the same. And maybe even for people who've already graduated, like was it still important? Was it fun? Just kind of talk about that next week.
And please feel free to fill in your name and address, email addresses in the Google form that has been shared on the BEST group as well, and so that we can all get back to you, because we really want you on board. So stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mo. Thank you so much, Zara. What a wonderful show. Really appreciate your great performance with all the participants. So folks, as you can see, this is a great platform to bring your next generation into a single networking event. So it's a borderless platform where people from all over the world can join us and enjoy the show and participate and express their feelings in this, and the main objective, among with other things, let's boost them up. We're gonna, as I said last time, we're gonna recover from all this, and it's just a matter of time. So be positive. And one last thing I wanted to share with you is, there's one little girl from Sydney. She just texted me. She's only 8 years old. Let me see if I could put her picture on here. And she really sent a very nice note about COVID-19 situation, and it's worth kind of sharing with you. So just give me 1 second, and then I will do this. Okay. So yeah, so this is the little girl. Actually, she happened to be my batchmate's daughter. They live in Sydney, and the note she sent me, her name is Marisa Hawk, a brilliant third grader, and actually like daughter, like father. My friend Mashil Hawk, he went to MIT when we all came here after our intermediate. And so Marisa Hawk, now living in Sydney, Australia, and she sent me this morning about the positives and negatives of COVID isolation. So she said, I get to go to the park. These are the positive things for COVID-19. I still get to see my friends. I get to have fun with my parents. I get to do some different things at break. I get to learn more about my parents' job. It is a challenging thing to learn. I get to do things that I don't get to do at school. And some of the negatives are I can't see my friends or teacher face to face. I don't get as much exercise, so much screen time. I am stuck in my house, my backyard, or sometimes in the shops, which is the only fun place. Not really perfect timing. For example, lunchtime at 12, maybe tomorrow at 11:30. I can go to school and still have a chance of getting the COVID-19 virus. So just imagine, like a little third grader, 8-year-old, what a wonderful note that she sent me. So this is a very powerful platform. My objective of showing this is that, see how we can bring in people from all over the world, and let's keep it going. Please spread the word. And, we'll be back again with 8 individual, bright kids from different parts of the world. And until then, have a great weekend and enjoy the rest of the time, and see you next Saturday. Take care.